Welcome to Reread, where I'm rereading through the expanded universe in chronological order, something you should never do. Alright, so today I reread through the short stories of Lost Tribe of the Sith, Pantheon, Secrets, and Pandemonium. This kind of completes the story from Lost Tribe of the Sith, Pandemonium being the exclusive one that was found in the novelization, the collection of short stories, so to speak. The first two stories basically are back-to-back, and they focus on someone called Hilt. He is a Sith kind of archaeologist or historian, and it's getting close to Testament Day, where they play an old holocube message from one of the original Sith that landed on the planet. And as this day comes, there is another girl, Ileana, who kind of hijacks him and says, hey, look, you're going to tell everyone that you found a new scroll that makes my tribe, because now they're all divided up into little tribes on this planet. But my tribe's going to be the leading tribe, and I'll be their leader, because I'm going to, she wanted power. He's like, no, I'm not going to do that. He also has an assistant who's kind of like an accountant called Jay, and he's a very interesting person. I forgot about Jay. Jay is a counter, and he was counting and saying, hey, you know what? I think we're off 8 days from the original Testimony Day, because our sand clocks are 1 second off in the day, and so if you add 1 second up to so many years, it accounts for X amount of days. So today is actually Testament Day. Now that comes into play when all these warriors come crashing into the temple, making a mess, demanding that Ileana get out of here, and demanding that he read the testimonial or keep the testimonial pure for the celebration, or it's not really a celebration, it's just basically a tradition that they all do. Well, he reveals that, hey, according to our accountant here, it's been instead of being at 8 days away, it's actually today, so let's go ahead and play it. So they play it for the masses, but this time he shakes it or something happens, and he finds another recording underneath the recording. It's from Naga Shadow, and it is the original, order about what they were supposed to do. They're delivering some sort of crystals over to and meeting him on the planet. All the plans we learned from Golden Age of the Sith. And then they realize that their fearless leader that's been talking about and giving these rules on how the Sith should live on this abandoned planet was nothing more than a delivery boy, and Naga Shadow was the real Sith Lord. So they get angry, they decide to destroy it, they don't even want to know it, but they also say, we need to go back to the ship. No one's visited the ship in over or hundreds of years or whatnot, and they go back to visit Omen, and that's basically where the first book ends, Pantheon. And then when you go into Secrets, they start exploring the ship, which, like I said, is in pristine condition, a little layer of dust on there, but no one's been in there for years. It is kind of neat because they're looking around, looking at all the metal, going, wow, there's a lot of metal here. This is very expensive materials, because they don't have much metal. Any metal that fell off and got scattered abroad the planet during the wreck is the only metal they have. So here's a ship made of metal, and I thought that was a nice touch because they don't see that type of substance around much. Then they discover that there's a secret room, because Jay has been counting stairs that they've been going up the stairs. He's like, wait a minute, there should be another level. There's a secret level, and they find it. And in there, I think the warriors come in to Omen, and so everyone's gathered together, where he uncovers a new secret. And this is the big secret. This is the big twist at the end of it all. They're on an island, and there's a bigger island way far away. Now, the holo recording from this ancient Sith says, hey, when we were looking at the ship's systems, it was reporting that there was another island, and it's a bigger island. And so I'm letting you know this because knowledge is power. So, and there's people on the island. Okay, why didn't he go ahead and do something about it? I mean, they later on explain in the last one, Pandemonium, they don't have, for the next 25 years, they're trying to figure out how to invade this island, because they don't have any materials that they can use on the island to form boats or whatnot. So they have to make these airships. They're Uvoks. They're like winged creatures that they ride will not fly that far out. So they have to figure out another way to get across the island and attack this other island. Well, in Pandemonium, which is the longest short story of them all, it's about 120 pages, 140 pages probably. And in that one, it starts over with the Big Island people and how they're living. And it's kind of interesting. It starts with a married woman, and she keeps going across the country. She's a messenger, I think, but she doesn't really do her job that well. She doesn't like her husband. She's secretly seeing, not sleeping yet, but riding and seeing a sentinel, someone who's standing guard on the East Coast. He's on the, front line or back line, whatever it is. And he is a defense to see if the Sith will ever attack them from the other island. You're like, well, how did they know about him? They explain it later on. There's been legend. They've known about them for some time. And as they finally come, the Sith finally come to invade, there's one Sith there who was sent there, I think, by the Queen. I can't remember, by the King and Queen. By the way, I should mention that Hilt and Ileana. Hilt becomes the Dark Lord of the Sith, the High Lord or whatever. And so he decides to have a queen and to make it Ileana. Why? Because he knows how dangerous she is, and he knows that she wants to kill him. But now she can. If they're married, and she says this at the end of Secret, she went, wait a minute, so wait, if we're married, that means if you die, then I must be executed. Yeah, if the king dies, then the queen or his wife would be executed. So now it's in her best interest to protect him, which is kind of funny. But in Pandemonium, they have gone over to, well, not the king and queen or the high lords, but they've sent someone out there, and then Ileana sent another person out there who no one likes. He's kind of brash and has the old Sith ways, I guess, of being cruel and whatnot. And Hilt, is not that cruel a Sith, and it is a nice twist at the end, because you find out that he uses his cunningness, Hilt does, to establish, he figured out what their prophecy was. Supposedly he'd been studying them for years, figured out what their prophecy was, and tried to fit him as the prophesied one. He came in this feathered dress, white feathered robe, on an airship, and it was kind of similar to what their legends had said, and he had said things according to legend, painting this Sith as the evil person and him as the righteous conqueror who's going to save them and protect them, and he will send his Sith to help rebuild their city, and everyone's so happy, and he will help rule, and whatnot. He is the chosen one, and you find out at the end he's just read their history and he's just using their lore against them, which I found very interesting. So overall, just for this part, it was decent. It was decent. Now, I still don't like Lost Tribe of the Sith because it does skip around a lot, meaning you never really have time to enjoy any of these characters, because I think it skips, now that I've read it through again, I think it skips like 3 different eras. And during those eras, it's like, well, what was the point? And maybe there was no point. Maybe we're just peeking into the lives of these Sith. Because, I mean, seriously, we're only 3,000 ABY. We go from 4 to 3 or 5 to 3. I can't remember. But the thing is, though, not that much time has passed, and we're still not at the point where we will eventually see them in Fate of the Jedi, what this lost tribe has happened. So this is more ancient history. It really doesn't matter. And that's another thing. At the end of Pandemonium, it says, check out the adventures of what happened to the Lost Sith and Fate of the Jedi series by Del Rey. And they're like, well, yeah, but it has nothing to do with this. So this was kind of weird that John Jackson Miller, again, I can't knock him, because he was given most of these stories for free. And I love that they made a trade paperback to collect them all. I loved it. I bought it. So I can't complain about it. But at the same time, I just want to say, what was the point? And John Jackson Miller is talented, and maybe we should have directed his talent in a different direction. Maybe he didn't want that. Maybe he wanted to write about the Lost Tribe of the Sith and write in the Old Republic, which he obviously loves a lot of, and maybe write something different too. But I just don't understand. It feels like wasted talent. It feels like we've put one of our, a good author, and you put him on a project that just doesn't make any sense. It was almost a waste of time. Again, the book's not that bad. It's not that bad overall looking at it. I mean, it can hold your interest, but like I said, reading all the way through it, that'd be a slog and a chore, and then having to switch characters every, 3 short stories? It's gonna just pull you out of the story as a whole, and probably hard to read altogether. Anyway, that's my thoughts on Lost Tribe. See you next time.